I have both Major Shah and Sanjeev Srivastava with me on the broadcast. Major Shah, let me start with you. We're of course seeing at this point that there is more escalation happening. In between, when there was a point when Putin was ready for talks, Zelensky was ready for talks, but now both leaders are in fact wondering if they should go in for negotiations, and what's happening is now more escalation is taking place. Russian shelling overnight is killing a lot of people and damaging the power grids in Ukraine as well.
Well, Arti, of course, yes, the war is, we are getting bad to worse, in fact, and Russia at the same time has claimed that their foreign intelligence director has claimed that Ukraine is storing weapons in the nuclear power plants and hiding behind civilians, and they are using civilians as human shields, and they are hiding their weapons there. And a lot of information warfare at the same time has been going on there. And just in December, when President Zelensky had addressed the American Congress, a day after that, President Putin had spoken to President Joe Biden, and he had said that Russia is not interested in elongating the war any further because already so much of damage has been done. But a few days after that, we saw over 100 missiles being launched by Russia into Ukraine. And you said rightly right now that they, again, fresh bombing in Ukraine and such things, and this is just not, there's no end to this. Now, as the Russia-Ukraine war continues, Poland wanted to transfer the German-made Leopard 2 tanks to Ukraine and seek Germany's permission, because Germany's permission, of course, would be somewhere required there as well. Now, that has been another report which has come in. So now when the Leopard 2 tanks and, a lot of deadly weapons which are being used in this war. Now, the armaments that the Ukraine was hiding apparently by Russia, which has claimed they have been US-made HIMARS launchers and missiles. They have been hiding those weapons as a trump card which the West has given them, that they will use them as and when the time is right. So it is going to be worse, and at the same time, Russia has threatened that this is going to affect the entire Europe. Entire Europe will be affected by it, and then of course, if the entire Europe comes, it's but obvious that the entire world would be affected by it, would get involved somewhere, which means indirectly or directly it could mean that they were threatening that the consequences of this could be a world war. Now, the golden question is, none of the parties also in the heart of hearts would be interested to continue on with this war, but they've gone a bit too far. Now it's going to be a year. So now the very fact is, even if they put an end to it, now the local public over there is going to ask the head of state, what is this? You killed so many of our innocent people, so many people died. What for? What for? This could have been sorted out in the very beginning, but it's now. So yes, Aarti, it is going to escalate. I feel it's going to escalate further if it doesn't stop now. If not now, then as I say, if not now, then never. A stitch in time saves 9. So it has to be stopped now by all means. If it doesn't stop now, there's going to be hell to pay for the entire world, Aarti.
Right. We're in fact getting more news coming in that the Prime Minister of Poland has now informed that Poland will apply for Germany's approval to send Leopard tanks to Ukraine. They've said in a statement that even if we did not get this approval, we would still transfer our tanks together with others to Ukraine. They also added that Germany's consent is of secondary importance before Poland sends their tanks. Major Shah, now this is on one hand, these European countries, of course, trying to aid Ukraine, and we're seeing that Ukraine is storing their weapons in nuclear facilities, which could then in fact lead to some sort of damage, or there is high risk of possibilities when it comes to storing weapons in a nuclear facility, when we've already seen that Russian shelling on nuclear plants has been stopped by the UN, as it can be devastating for the rest of the world.
Absolutely, Aarti. Storing a weapon in a nuclear power plant can be very hazardous, very dangerous, and the aftermaths, the person to bite the dust, the people to bite the dust would be Ukraine in case of a blast, because it's going to be double, triple, multiplied by how many times the blast, the effect. So most certainly, but Ukraine, I don't know what kind of information warfare there is going on over there, but the very fact that Russian agencies have reported, their director of foreign intelligence has reported such a thing. So they could be, secondly, otherwise they've also said that they are using civilians as human shields. But I don't think Ukraine needs to actually do that, because They are fighting the war, and they made it very, very clear. They made no bones about the very fact that their civilians would participate in this war, and their civilians would be given weapons. So criminals were let out from jails, from prisons, and they were handed over weapons. So they had come out in the open. But now when they put in hide weapons in the nuclear power plant, it's going to be very, very hazardous, no doubt. And if Russia knows of this, then it is, of course, it is something. And if it is the fact that is, if it's not just a part of a game of an information warfare. Now, because Russia has said that, now also Poland has said that they would need approval from Germany for their Leopard 2 tanks. And even whether Germany gives approval or not, they will still go ahead with it. So, which obviously goes to state that they have determined,
Right.
they have made up their mind. So it's going to happen either ways.
Right.